Sophia dressed up as Belle for Halloween, which has extended past Halloween with her wanting to dress up as Belle and also watch Beauty and the Beast over and over and over. The thing that gets me is that Gaston obviously was a crazy stalker who sexually harassed and made inappropriate advances to Belle and then tried to get her dad institutionalized to marry her. But nobody in the town seemed to care that this guy was an asshole. It baffles me.
Yeah, but not much commentary here other than my high school girlfriend. She always said persistence was the key.
Give it a couple years and you will be watching a shit ton of Beauty and Beast.
I don't think so.
You do have a daughter.
I know, but she also has an older brother. She's going to mimic him a lot.
Those old school Disney movies have some questionable plots.
Persistence is the key. I asked her if that was her motto when she chased me through town in a car and then tried to beat down my door and then tried to hit me while her mom was holding her back.
Could I keep the car thing in there?
Oh, you can keep all that. She's not going to listen.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. How are you, Zeke Baker?
Fighting the weather. Apologies to everyone for any coughs or whatnot that John can't clear out of the fact that my voice sounds even extra shitty this week. But the cold weather has gotten my chest and lungs a little bit.
I am going to do my best. I'm glad then you weren't at Grains and Grits, even though it was one of the best damn whiskey events of the whole entire year. No lie. But it was pretty cold. Would have done a number on your throat.
I know. And at the end of the day, I think that luggage bag served as a spoon a lot better to you than I would have.
I don't even remember. Take the best things that we love about a whiskey event when it's paired with food, right? Like Bacon and Barrel was. Like Walnut Kitchen made food. The Old Mill made food. Amici's made food. There was a flatbread place out of Knoxville that made this chorizo barbecue flatbread that was great. Walnut Kitchen made this meal that they used H. Clark's Black and Tan to make a sauce that was just incredible. The food was on point. All of the distilleries on the Tennessee Whiskey Trail were there. And then just picture the mountains in the background. The whole time you're out, there's open fires. Everybody's around the fire playing that. You know the thing? People are playing Beirut with big garbage cans now. Have you seen that?
I don't know what that means.
Beer pong. I
know what beer pong is, but what would be the premise of a garbage can?
It's like lined up in a triangle. So you have 6 garbage cans. And then you have a big-ass ball. And then you're throwing the big-ass ball instead of a ping pong. I mean, it's not a drinking version of it, but...
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
No, you're not drinking out of the garbage can. That would get pretty rough pretty quick.
I would insert a joke, but I'll refrain.
I'm proud of you. You're growing up.
There's been enough of the garbage can jokes. I'll give them a break.
Well, I want to mention before we get started, there is another couple of events that we will be at. We will be at the Holiday Spirits Fest in Franklin, Tennessee. It is December 6th, I believe, a Friday. And then we will also be at Tennessee Whiskey Christmas at the Omni Hotel on December 14th. There's also going to be a dinner on December 13th at the George Jones. There's going to be 7 awesome chefs cooking right on the side of your table and a concert from John Rich. All of this is going to benefit the L5 Foundation, who is going to use the funds to help out people getting cancer treatments at the VA in Nashville. There's going to be something like $2,020 gas cards, as well as $550 Kroger cards. L5, as you know, helps to provide relief for cancer patients for things that they're going through. Like, you know, it's not just the bills, it's the food, it's the gas, it's the lodging, all that other stuff. So make sure to check that out at TennesseeWhiskeyWeekend.com. Get your tickets Zeke and I are looking forward to that. Another thing I want to mention real quick before we get started. Tonight's episode is sponsored by CaskCartel.com. Get the world's greatest spirits delivered directly to your door with CaskCartel.com. They are changing the industry standard as how you get your alcohol. So if you're sitting on the couch late night, you look at the cabinet, you realize, man, I'm out of something. They have vodka, tequila, whiskey, rum, whatever it is, bourbon, they have it. Go to CaskCartel.com. Get it sent directly to your door. Also, go to Cask Cartel on Instagram. You might win some samples of some cool stuff. And they also do a lot of stuff to give back to their followers. So CaskCartel.com, at Cask Cartel on Instagram. We've got through the morning announcements. You ready to know what we're drinking today?
Maybe.
Well, Ray Walker from St. Cloud Bourbon sent us over a sample of their stuff. Thank you very much, Ray, for sending this over to us, but thank you also for letting us give an impartial and unbiased review when people send us whiskey. Zeke, this one is 120 proof. It is aged under 4 years. The mash is undisclosed. It's more than 70% corn, less than 20% rye, and more than 10% malted barley. The price tag on this goes from 100 to 115. It's not filtered at all, aged in French Limousin oak. And, Ray was a wine guy and then came over to do bourbon. I guess he has some ties to Kentucky, wanted to get into that. He lives in California, though, was a wine guy, now is making bourbon. I think the wine background kind of shows off in the bottling and all that. It's a simple bottle with a nice medallion that says St. Cloud Bourbon. A little bit of controversy from our friend Wade, who points out that on the label, one part it says straight, the other part it just says bourbon. And
so
then
that'd be the 2-year thing, correct?
It would be the 2-year thing, but then also it says aged under 4 years, which technically anything that's under 4 years needs a definitive age statement. So we're assuming this is somewhere in the 2 to 4 range.
Well, does the Limousin oak meet the requirement, or has it got to be American or New American White Oak?
It should be.
Isn't it New American White Oak?
It's New American White Oak.
Sometimes folks will take a straight bourbon whiskey and finish it, in the Limousin wood, but then it becomes a whiskey.
Man, you're just dropping bombs.
Hey, every now and then I got my shoes tied.
I don't.
Although I did try and do this in my head without a piece of pen or paper. I don't know if you can have more than 70, less than 20, more than 10, and really come out. There's not many options.
Well, I think he's being specifically vague when he said that, and I saw that on Breaking Bourbon. So if you think about it, you could have 71% corn. You could have like 5% rye.
Yeah, it's got to be super low rye, because if you're more than 10, that's 11. 71 and 11 is 82, so I guess you'd be 18, but it's still a pretty low number. What's Dickel's?
84, 8, and 8.
Whoa.
Not that I remember mash bills in my head, but it's just, there's a lot of specifically vague items about the bottling on this. We do know the first batch was 12 barrels with a 3,000 bottle yield that was blended together.
And they did this all themselves, correct?
Not sure.
Oh, but it was somebody's copper pot still.
Yeah.
Not sure whose. Okay.
It wasn't his. This has to be sourced from somewhere.
Okay.
But the thing is, saying it was a hybrid pot column still, that's very typical at a craft distillery to have a hybrid pot column. So there's nothing really earth-shattering by saying, hey, it's a hybrid pot column. It's like, yeah, cool. If you and I were to open a distillery, we would probably have a hybrid pot column.
No, I just buy GNS.
You would?
Flavor it. Take the low road, man.
Here's our Fireball. Dad's drinking Fireball. So what do you think about this one?
Let me see here. I'll pull up the notes on this one.
Oh, yeah, you went digital. It's on your phone today.
Well, my producer quit supplying me with paper. I guess the bills are getting tough around here.
I do have paper if you asked for it.
Nose-wise, I thought it was ethanol forward into a light cherry caramel nougat. also was sawdusty at times. And I will put, definitely it was light on those 3 notes as far as cherry, caramel, and nougat. Moving into the palate and taste, I put down it seemed like a rough around the edges, dark chocolate raisin. That was really kind of the profile I got, in that was a specific note that came off, but beyond that little flash note in the front end, kind of working around and moving it, I didn't pick up anything in any other spots or any other taste buds. The main thing I really got was it had a fair amount of heat that began to build, and then it remained on the back of the tongue well after the juice was gone. Again, I don't really call that a finish. I just say it's lingering heat because you're not picking up a profile. You're just tingling. How about yourself there, good sir?
It's so funny to me how our palates are yin and yang, but I got creamy and hot on the nose, a lot of cinnamon, almost like a Fireball candy. And funny we were mentioning Fireball, but the nose seemed a little creamy to me and hot, but there were hints of fruit, cherry, apple, some caramel, but it was interesting that thickness, right? That I kind of just felt like there was substance or smelled some substance. It was interesting for the age statement that I got that there. But then when I tasted it, I said it was hot like a Fireball candy, a ton of cinnamon to start with some pepper. It doesn't scorch your mouth, but you know it's there. A little bit of fruit, but honestly, my favorite part of the pour was the finish when the heat gave way to fruit, some leather, and just flavor. All the flavor on this one to me was on the finish. I know we are going to have to do video at some point, because if you could see Zeke's eyes when I talk sometimes.
I mean, only finish I got is still just a prickly, singeing, no flavors. Although I am a little also confused about, how something seemed thick smelling it. I mean, people always make the joke of, a thick-ass fart in the room, but beyond that, I can't think of any references to smelling something that was thick.
You have to be a fat kid to understand.
I was a fat kid growing up.
No, not really. You were skinny and ran. I wish I was skinny like you.
I'll show you the offensive lineman pics.
I need to see them because I don't believe it.
Big boy.
You give me hope, but you told me I can't lose weight because I look weird skinny.
Maybe.
People look at me and go, you know what? You're someone who could probably use to gain 20 pounds if you were skinny. Like, you look weird. Just be a teddy bear. Don't be the skinny guy. I thought I would get some youth from it because you're somewhere in that 2 to 4 range. I did not get youth.
I get something on the front. Like I say, that little bit of sawdusty nose that I got. And then you couple that in with, like I say, when I say rough around the edges, like a dark chocolate raisin, it's kind of dry and malty right at the very first. And it's kind of like almost a bitter flavor. And then after that, when like it'd be like biting into the center of one of those raisins, that's when you get kind of the sweet caramelness. And to me, that's where the corn comes in. And again, it's not super young or just terribly off-putting as far as the corn note goes. But I mean, you can tell it's not super aged either. But where that heat comes from, I don't know. But it's not the proof necessarily, but I guess maybe the grains and whatever they put in there, less friendly on the palate. I don't know, but it kicks up very hot to me.
I mean, at least for me, if you align with my palate opposed to Zeke's, if you like a Fireball candy and don't want it to taste artificial, then you're going to like this, at least on my side of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I equated it was, some dry bitter, a quick flash of sweet, and then just a burn. That, like I say, to me, I don't really equate to a finish, but if you like to feel the burn and want to, you'll feel accomplished out of this one.
I don't hate it, though.
Well, hate's a strong word.
No, I get it at a bar. I think it's unique enough that it's a conversation starter. You know how much I love conversation starters. I probably at this point would not buy a bottle until it mellowed out a little bit. I mean, I just don't. I need it to be a little bit thicker at 120 proof, and I need a little more flavor outside of the heat in order to spend that kind of money on it. And if I'm spending that kind of money on a whiskey, I do not want to have to then go put water in. I would hope that they would have dialed it in to the point. If I'm spending that much, I should be drinking it.
Yeah, I mean, at $100 or more MSRP, that's a tough pull the trigger on.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's not worthy of a bar pour to try it, but if you consider MSRP, what normal markup is, at a bar or, other fine dining establishment, that's a pretty expensive pour.
Yep. I wouldn't want to spend $40 on a pour of this, but if that's what we're looking, I mean, I'd spend $20 to give it a shot.
I don't know. I'm much more conservative when I'm out, especially knowing what's at home versus what it costs to get to the bar. Unless I'm really curious or have seen a ton of good press on it, I usually take the low road and get something I know I'm going to enjoy because I don't want to pay for more than like 2 or 3 pours.
Oh, I'm a cheap bastard when I'm out. Don't get me wrong.
When what's at home, I have the whole bottle of, and it costs the same as those 3 pours.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a cheap bastard when I'm out. I mean, Wild Turkey 101 is great when you're out. I just think that if you have any interest in this one, people have seen this. They've done a great job of getting this one out to people to try. So there is going to be a little bit of a curiosity from people. I'd say if you're curious about this one, try it at a bar. I just can't spend that much on a whiskey that's this young. Youth has nothing to do with it, but it's like I feel like I've been burned in the past saying something like that. I think there are things that are worth $100, and this one probably is not worth $100.
Yep, I think that's a simple enough assessment there.
Want to let you know that all of our glassware was provided by distilleryproducts.com. Go to distilleryproducts.com. They have great wholesale pricing on Glencairns, the Tua glass, the Neat glass. They're the only place in North America that can engrave a neat whiskey tasting glass and give it to you at wholesale pricing. If you are in the industry, you're probably already using distilleryproducts.com, but if you're not, reach out to me. I'll make sure to get you in touch with them. They're also great if you are in a whiskey group and you need to get a whole bunch of glasses for everybody in your group. Go ahead and go to distilleryproducts.com. Reach out to them. Tell them you heard about them from us. They'd love to hear that, but thank you guys for providing the glassware for us tonight. Zeke, want to let you know that people can find us at Dad's Drinking Bourbon on Instagram, Dad's Drinking Bourbon on Facebook, at Bourbon Dads on Twitter. You can find us wherever you download your podcast. Please leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Thank you, St. Cloud, for sending us over this sample. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Good old Nashville, Tennessee. And for those folks still hanging around, I think most folks are probably in the Facebook group, but if not, there should be some fun pics coming out in there probably soon, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully I get this episode out before they come.
If not, we got more coming.
Cheers.
Ciao.